Okay, so we're on session number 2. We just heard a little bit of Joseph's story, and now he's going to talk about how he came from that entrepreneur mindset and had to move that into his business and develop a success story that we all get to hear today. So, Joseph, let's hear more about this, how personal credit and business credit just kind of took you the next step.
Yeah, thank you, Lyle, for having me back. I want you to know that while my first year as a part-time business owner ended up being successful, I was still swimming in personal debt, and there was, and I still was facing the end of my job. So, what do you do when the boat's sinking? It's time to jump out and learn how to swim, right? So I decided, well, instead of being a part-time business owner, I'm going to be a full-time business owner. But so there's a lot of challenges, and everyone's going to have personal financial challenges. And so it was great that I had this business and it was making enough money for my family to have a place to live and food to eat, so that was being taken care of through my business. But I had to hustle, I had to work hard, I had to meet with people. I was a salesman, I was a marketer. I had to find people's needs and meet and help them meet them up with other people who shared, the same, buyers and sellers, hooking them up. That's when I did a few wholesale deals. It was a fun time, but none of that I was not generating enough money to get out of debt. In fact, I was in so much debt that I believe at that time, this would have been about 6 years ago, I was in $192,000 worth of debt. And I think 100,000 of that was like student loan debt. So there was no way to, write that off, so that was challenging. Even though my income had gone up to $60,000 a year, that's not enough money to live and pay down that debt. So I mentioned that class about, they called it sweep strategy, then velocity banking. I mean, if you go and do a search on that, you're going to find that there's infinity banking, cash flow banking. I mean, there's all kinds of different ways and strategies of how to do some creative financing with your personal credit. So what I'm just going to do from this point forward is just call it credit banking as a generic term, and I'm kind of referencing all of those different strategies. So what I didn't know anything about credit banking. I had learned that you could convert amortized loan debt into and convert it into the simple interest on your credit card and pay that off quickly, and just do that over and over again. And I thought, wow, that sounds great, but what do you do if you have terrible credit like mine? I mean, I think I had a negative 350 credit score at the time, so there's nobody who's going to touch me with a 10-foot pole. I didn't even qualify for a secured line of credit because my credit was so bad. Foreclosures and bankruptcies both you might as well wear like a burlap sack over your head and walk around the city saying unclean, right? Nobody wants to give you any money or work with you. So I couldn't get a regular line of credit. I couldn't get a secured line of credit. And so I'm like, well, so am I just stuck? Is this just how it is for the rest of my life? And then this is when I learned about business credit, that your business can build lines of credit. And I had formed just to speed up time to catch you up to now, I had started a real estate investing company with a business partner, and we had both gone into partnership with this lady. Her name was Megan Christensen. Her and her business partner, Ty Crandall, have a company called Credit Suite. It was a phenomenal company, and we used their services to build business credit for our business. In fact, we worked so well together that we actually partnered with them. And so Wise Guys and Ties, we actually now sell business credit services ourselves. We do the same thing with our partners, and we share, as partners with Credit Suite, we share the profit back and forth. And that's just you just got to have your eyes open for opportunities. I wasn't looking to get into the business credit business, but it just happened because as my business partner, Ray Fleming, and I got all of this business credit for our businesses, people were like, how did you do that? Don't leave me behind. Tell me how to do it. And so it was becoming a part-time job telling everybody how we did this. We were like, maybe we should get paid a little bit for helping people learn how to do this. So we had the opportunity. We worked really well with Megan and Ty, and we put together the business partnership we have with them. So fast forward. So this is kind of where we're at today. We have a successful real estate business. We've generated a lot of capital to be able to invest in rental properties. We've done numerous fix and flips. I think we're on flip number. We have one closing this month, which will be number 19, and then deal number 20 is probably a little bit longer off, unfortunately, because of the way things are shut down. You can't seem to find anybody to work. But anyway, we'll get through it. But anyway, so we've had a lot of success. So go back, or I was talking to you about my personal credit issue. Well, if you have a credit card, great. If you have access to a personal line of credit, that's even better. Secured line of credit, okay, right? But I couldn't get any of that. But I was able to use my business credit to help me on my personal side. Now, normally you don't want to commingle funds, right? It's like, hey, you got to keep your business and your personal separated. Absolutely. In fact, one of the things that I help coach people on is, what are the correct ways to actually have your business lend you money personally? There's a right way and a wrong way to do it. There's what's called formal lending and informal lending. And most people do informal lending, which gets them in a lot of trouble, because then if you just say, hey, here's money from my right hand, I'm going to give it to my left hand. And now the IRS says, we're going to consider that a dividend or income, and we're going to tax you on that. So I've learned how to create what are called notes, private mortgage notes, where you have a term, an interest rate, a down payment, you have collateral as an instrument. You use a third party to run the note through, so you have third party reporting, and all of it creates more legitimacy. And then you're able then to, if you ever were audited, you have a legitimate note, as if any business had lent you money, as if the bank had lent you money. You don't get taxed on a loan that you get from a bank, right? So you're not going to get taxed if you do it a right way on a loan from your business. But see, what I did is I took it a little step further, because I didn't really want a loan from my business. That wasn't what I needed. I needed a line of credit, right? I wanted to use the credit banking strategy to eliminate my loans. So I didn't want to eliminate one loan with another loan, because then I'm still stuck with a loan. So I'm not getting ahead. I'm just kind of moving my money to a different, making somebody else my new slave master. Mm-hmm. So what I did is, and this is something that I've been very blessed, but I took this education, this phenomenal education that I learned from Renatus on how to build, start, and grow a business. And then I took this education on how to build business credit in my partnership with Credit Suite. And I was like, can we combine these two? Is there a way to create synergy between this credit banking strategy and building business credit? Can the two be combined? And it turns out that it can. It's a very complicated process. It's not something that you just sort of do, and shoot from the hip. I definitely encourage you, if you are good at accounting and managing your books, and you got QuickBooks or something like that, great. But this whole process that I went on led me to write a book. I wrote a book called Credit Banking and the Search for the Lost American Dream. In it, I described the whole credit banking strategy in its generic sense. I help people understand there's a movement of money principle that starts first with your budgeting. You have to create positive monthly cash flow. And some people are like, well, that's easy for you to say, but how do you do that? And so in the book, we go over several easy strategies to increase your income and decrease your expenses. And with a combination of those two, you should be able to create a budget surplus or positive monthly cash flow that you can then use. And that's going to be what I call in my book, the fuel on your journey towards that lost American dream. And now once you have the fuel, you've got to pick your vehicle. And your vehicle has to be a financial product, because this is why you're in debt, because you have too many over-leveraged financial products. but which one do you choose? Do you choose the loan? Do you choose the line of credit? Do you choose the credit card? Which is the right one? So we have a whole chapter where we discuss the math and the breakdown of the interest on each of those different products, and we learn which is the right vehicle for you to use. So now you've got your fuel of your cash flow, then you use your banking tool, and so that's your vehicle. So you're going to put your fuel into your vehicle. And then the last step is, how do you actually implement the credit banking strategy? And it's, somebody says, well, how do you eat an elephant? Well, one bite at a time. Well, how do you eat an elephant quickly? Get more mouths, right? So we utilize this credit banking strategy. We take chunks out of these different loans, and depending on what credit cards or lines of credit or these different banking products that you have, determines how much you can really take. We talk about how to have good credit management in the book, because you don't want to go over 50% utilization. In fact, we want to encourage you to get to the point where you're using 30% utilization or less on your cards. But and so we show examples on how to do that. But the more you can, so this is a movement of money. So the way I kind of describe it is like this: the easiest way for somebody to understand. You have some kind of loan, and you put transfer some of that loan balance to a credit card. And then, now what am I going to do? Well, I'm going to put all my income through this credit card and my expenses through the same credit card. Or maybe it's a line of credit or a home equity line of credit, something like that. So, but I'm going to start running all of my income through this. And that budget surplus I was talking about, that cash flow, that is the speed at which I pay down the debt on that card each and every month. And so banks really like to see all of this activity. And so another thing that we do in this movement of money principle is, think about this. You have a credit card bill that needs to be paid. Well, you're just going to throw your money at it. Or this is very similar to how we do a lot of things. So let's even take it another step further. You've got your cell phone bill. Well, instead of paying it from your checking account, we're going to use the credit card to pay the cell phone bill. But then we've got now a balance that's due on that credit card. So what are we going to do? Well, we're going to go to our line of credit, and we're going to transfer money from that line of credit into our checking account. And then we're going to take from the checking account and then pay off that credit card. And then when our income comes in, we're going to go throw it all on that original line of credit that we had transferred the money into the checking account. Now with one bill, we talked about one bill there, right? The cell phone bill. We've created 4 payment transactions. And this movement of money, what this does, if you understand how the FICO system works, a lot of it is based off of your payment history. Well, we begin to flood the zone with doubling, tripling, quadrupling the amount of payment activity that you have. So this, in how your score is calculated, it has the effect of giving your credit score a bump. It goes up. But what it really does for you is it helps you cultivate a relationship between all of those different money lenders. Because the person who has the cell phone bill, right, you're cultivating a relationship with them because they report to your credit bureau as a positive payment. But then the credit card that you used to pay that, you're paying them off, right? So you're building a relationship with them. The bank that lent you the line of credit, you're cultivating a relationship with them because you're using their money and then paying them off. And so by creating 3 or 4 different payment transactions, I'm also building a relationship with all of these lenders that builds and grows my lines of credit. So by the time I'm out of debt, which could take, we eliminate loan debt in 1/3 the time. Meaning if you just started a home mortgage and you got 30 years to go, we can get that taken care of in a little bit less than 10 years. But, let's say you've been in the loan, an auto loan for 5 years, right? Well, we're done with that in like 2.5 years, or not even that. We're done with that in 18 months, really. So this credit banking strategy, the movement of money principle, and when you combine this with the business credit strategy, oh my gosh, business credit is the key to having a successful, sustainable business, because every business needs cash flow, collateral, and credit. Well, most businesses fail because they don't have those things. But when you use your business credit as giving yourself a loan to your personal side, you end up creating the cash flow, collateral, and credit that your business needs. So let's say it takes you 2, 3, 4, 5 years to utilize this credit banking strategy to get out of debt. Well, at the end of all that time, you have a business with a bank record, a track history of all of this revenue and income, because you used a business line of credit to do this in my example. And so I fed all of my income, personal income, legitimately through my business line of credit, which, from the bank record standpoint, looks like revenue, right? I mean, it's not actual income for my business. It's loan repayment, but the interest on it, right? Because I did a 30% interest only payment. I mean, so there is income. So the business has income, but it also has revenue. And for most lenders, revenue is more important than income, especially if you're in startup mode. But because we secured the loan or the line of credit to the house that we own, that equitable interest that the business has is collateral, which every business needs collateral, right? And then as we just kept using the credit over and over again, the credit banking strategy of putting a debt on the card and then paying that card down every month more than what you put on it, that is the correct way to use credit. Personal credit, business credit, that's the correct way to pay it down more than what you use on it every month. And so with that being said, after the 5 to 7 years that it takes to pay off all your debt, you've grown your business credit to 150. In some cases, I've seen people be able to not only have $150,000 in lines of credit, but to then personally guarantee an additional 150, right? So meaning it is theoretically possible in less than 5 years, maybe even in just 2.5 years, to get $300,000 in lines of credit and credit cards for your business and to personally be out of debt. And because of that movement of money principle I was telling you about, to have a huge bump in that credit score again. So that is what I wrote in my book, Business Credit and the Search for the Lost American Dream. Because all of those strategies that I can't say that I invented any one of those strategies. I take credit for combining them. It's a financial strategy book told from somebody who has 2 foreclosures, a bankruptcy. I'm not a financial consultant. I'm not a real estate attorney or CPA. It's from a layman's perspective of somebody who failed miserably financially, but I was able to turn around because I got educated. I learned that the financial system is rigged against the individual. And once I learned that, I learned how the system actually works and how you can become your own bank and learn how to win the way the bank wins. And that's really the power of this new book that I wrote and what we do with ourselves and what we do with our clients. And I had the opportunity, Lyle, to share. You actually were my first guinea pig back in January when I revealed the outline. I didn't even have the book written at that time, but I revealed to you the outline of the book. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
It's just changing lives. The book was written. We have it on pre-order now. You can get it through my website, wiseguysandties.com /books. Yeah, wiseguysandties.com /books. And what you'll be able to do is you can pre-order it. And what I've thrown in with our pre-order package is I throw in some Excel budget spreadsheets that help you learn how to, through your budget, create the cash flow that you need to do. And then we have a business, we have a credit banking calculator, not business credit, but credit banking calculator that actually can show you how, if you implement your own numbers with your own loans, how you can chunk those down and how quickly you can pay them off, how much money you'll save in interest, how much time you'll save over the course of the loan. And a lot of extra other goodies, charts, graphs, a lot of things we've thrown in there to really help people succeed in implementing this strategy.
Cool. And on top of that, you have a mastermind that you're doing?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, because, you can't just, I'll tell you something about myself. I'm a little slow. I told you it took me a while to get through that education. I must have, the first 7 times I went through that velocity banking course, I could not get it. And I was like, I really thought I was a smart person, but why don't I get this? I don't understand. And it wasn't like I understood part of it. It was like, step one, put all of your money onto your line of credit. I was like, I'm lost at step one. What are you talking about? How do I eat? How do we pay all our bills if I put everything over there? But fortunately, instead of just getting stuck on the step, I was like, okay, let me have some faith. Tell me steps 2, 3, 4, give me all the other steps. And then I began to understand, oh, okay, I see. I understood that money is one of many currencies, and I didn't understand that available credit was another type of currency. And so when you convert money into available credit, you haven't lost any of your money. Mm-hmm. So that solved the step one problem that I was having.
That's great.
But yeah, that monthly, that weekly mastermind that we have on Tuesday nights at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, this is really helpful for a lot of folks because we try to just go over a small section of the credit banking strategy. I mean, it's a lot to take in. So each week we go over a different piece of the map, so to speak, right? The treasure map. And then we also go over a case study. So my business partner, Ray Fleming, and I, we're right now working with 165 different clients, and they're all at various stages of implementing this strategy. Some have done some amazing, phenomenal stuff. But we had this one lady, a single mom, who came to us with over $100,000 of debt, and we helped her follow all these principles: start a business, get business credit because she had some credit issues. She was able to implement all of this, eliminate all of her debt, and have $55,000 in business lines of credit. And she was able to accomplish all of that in about 2.5 years. She had, because she was well into a lot of her debt, so we were able to help her pay down a lot of that stuff. But since then, she's gone on to become a real estate investor, and she's done in the last 3 years, she's done 3 flips, averaging $30,000 profit per flip. So, I mean, this is a kind of strategy that helps change people's lives.
Yeah, that's what I love about what you guys do. You're all about the person. What does that individual person need, and how can they take those next steps? Because people feel like they're drowning in debt. They don't feel like they can do anything, or they feel like they're stuck in a job. They don't feel like they can give a legacy for their family. They just don't see a way out. And you open the door and say, look, there is a way out. Look at me. I was stuck in this job, but look what I was able to accomplish because of that. And we won't get into numbers, but you've raised significant amount of money for real estate and everything yourself. And you're running how many businesses do you have now? 6?
I have 6 businesses. We learned a principle, a whole nother discussion for another time if you want to do self-directed IRAs. I love that conversation. But because, people need to start a business. If you have personal debt, right, that's one of the number one reasons to start a business. But if you have problems because your expenses are too high, you're paying too much in taxes, you need to start a business, right? I talk about this many times. If you don't make enough money, you don't make what you're worth, you need to start a business. If your retirement isn't where it needs to be and you want to accelerate that, you need to start a business, right? So these are all the different things that we talk about and train on. But through self-directed IRAs, my business partner and I, we've raised $736,000 over the last 2 years. So when I invest in real estate, I'm not using any of my own money or my credit. I'm helping to grow other people's retirement at double or triple what they would make in the stock market, while at the same time giving myself splitting the profit 50-50 with my investors.
Mm-hmm. That's great. And you can go to Wise Guys and Ties. There'll be a link below this video. And you guys offer a 30-minute consultation where you kind of look over their finances, kind of give them a game plan, a blueprint?
Absolutely. They can go to our website at wiseguysandties.com/schedule, and they can schedule a 30-minute consultation. If they're really interested in this credit banking strategy, we have a different page for them to go to altogether. It's wiseguysandties.com/credit-banking. And from there they can, I'm working from home. I don't know if you can hear the dog, but but here's what's great. When you do the credit banking one, you have the opportunity to not only schedule for the 30-minute consultation, but there's a form attached to that one where you can put in your financials, so that when we meet with you, we can one-on-one talk about where you're at right now and what you can do to start implementing the credit banking strategy right now, and how long would it take you to get out of debt, or how long would it take you to pay off that house? Mm-hmm. How much money will you save? Like, we can really help people gain a vision. And then for them moving forward, we want them coming to the credit banking mastermind, because you need to practice, you need to learn more. And then we do a case study each and every week where we work on different real life numbers. And we show people, we've worked on scenarios where, well, what if you have a negative cash flow? Mm-hmm. What happens if you don't have any credit? Well, what do you do in different scenarios? So each and every week we give our people in the mastermind an opportunity to work through that. And so that's what's really helpful for people and then, like, what do you do with how can you accelerate it? Like, sometimes people have savings accounts, or they have a 401k or things like that. And we show people different strategies on how to accelerate the pay down. So
that's cool. Well, if you're seeing this video online somewhere besides on our Optimized Profitability page, make sure to go to that page, and below this video, there's going to be links for all these various things. You want to do the credit banking, there'll be a link to that. If you want to schedule a time to kind of look over your personal blueprint, there'll be a link there. There'll be a link to the book that he's released. So maybe you're just a do-it-yourself, or you want to do it yourself, that's fine. But take time to go through what these guys have. Go through some of their YouTube videos. I think I'm going to stick your YouTube video link in there as well, because these guys offer so much value online. You won't believe at how much you can learn from these guys. They may not look like they're super smart. Just kidding. But they know what they're talking about when they talk about this business stuff. It sounds kind of funky. Move this here and move this here and move this here. But when you see the numbers and you see how it actually flows through, it's just like, wow, I didn't know you could do that. So you're basically flipping the script on the banks. And that's what they're going to show you how to do, how to start your own business. Don't ever think you don't have enough money, because he's proof that you don't need a lot of money. You just need to stick to it. Any final words you have for us, Joseph?
Final words. I would say the number one thing to do is to take action. I didn't know how to be a business owner. I didn't know how to even write a book. I didn't know how to do a lot of these things. But every opportunity that's ever came my way happened because I got off my butt and I took action. And it's very easy to overanalyze everything and have a paralysis of analysis, but nothing's ever going to happen until you take action. And you might be scared, because I want you to know that I was scared. But part of being an entrepreneur is failure. And every time I've failed at something, I learned something and I got better. But I would have never had an opportunity if I didn't take action. And that's sadly the number one thing that I see that holds a lot of people back, is some kind of fear or something that inhibits them from taking action. Everybody should take action. There's no shortage of money out there. There's no shortage of credit. There's no shortage of opportunities. We might be headed into a recession. There's plenty of opportunities in a recession. Or the market might bounce back and we'll be in a bull market and be incredible. There's plenty of opportunities there. But if you sit back and do nothing, well, then that's what's going to happen to you.
Mm-hmm. Great word. Appreciate you.